Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. It is the live game preview to our Premier League fixture against Chelsea tomorrow at Goodison Park. Duncan Ferguson's first game in charge of Everton Football Club, and I'm sure a lot of you know, if you checked out my video last night and you were anywhere on social media, Marco Silva did lose his job last night. He was sacked from his role as Everton manager. And Everton confirmed that whilst they look for a permanent manager, whilst they look for somebody to come in and replace Marco Silva, Duncan Ferguson will take charge of the first team temporarily on an interim basis. Now, I assume that two people were asked whether they wanted to take charge of the first team, and that would have been Duncan Ferguson and David Unsworth. However, after David Unsworth's last tenure at the club, managing the first team, I dare say he probably didn't quite fancy it considering the situation that we're in. However, listen, Duncan Ferguson wanted it. I think it's come to a little bit of a surprise to a lot of Evertonians, because I think they did feel that there was going to be somebody to come in straight away, and possibly that would have been David Moyes, maybe even David Unsworth, but it is Duncan Ferguson. Listen, before we go anywhere further in this team, I just want to read out a statement that's come from Marco Silva himself, because we give him a lot of stick on this channel and we give him a lot of stick as a fan base. However, it didn't work out for him, and he wasn't good enough to be the manager of this football club. I don't think he was ever good enough to be the manager of this football club. However, listen, he wasn't an awful bloke. There was nothing wrong with him personally. He has said it's been a real honour to have managed Everton for the past 18 months. I would like to thank Farhad Mashiri, Bill Kenwright, Denise Barrett-Baxendale, Keith Harris, Marcel Brands and the entire board for giving me the opportunity to be part of this special club. Thank you to all the Evertonian fans who always live and breathe the club and show such passion. A special thank you to all of the players for their professionalism and the commitment they have put into their work every day, and to the staff who welcomed me to Finch Farm training ground and made me feel home. All the best. Come on, you Blues. So there you go. Not a bad man. Quite a nice man, quite a nice gentleman. Just didn't quite work out for him at Everton Football Club, and I think it's fair for us to sit down and say, you know what? Listen, nothing against you, nothing personal, but it didn't work, and that's football sometimes, and that's business, and we move on. But Marco Silva has lost his job. Duncan Ferguson takes charge of the game tomorrow, and I think this is really, really important for this to have been done yesterday. I think it's really, really important for it to have been announced yesterday, because I think it'll give the players and the fans, definitely give the fans a little bit of a spike of confidence, a little bit of a spike of excitement going into this game tomorrow afternoon. Obviously, we're playing a really, really good side, the side that Frank Lampard took over in the summer. Currently fourth in the Premier League, won 9, drawn 2 and lost 4 as well. Got some really, really good young players going into the team, especially considering that they've been banned from making any transfers until obviously the upcoming January, which will be in a month's time. So, like I said, I think it was vitally important that the club made that decision there and then. If you'd have asked me, it probably could have and should have been done a couple of weeks ago, but it was done last night, and they announced that Duncan Ferguson will take charge of the first team. Duncan Ferguson had his first press conference as Everton manager today. Usually we'd do a press conference reaction, however, it's been a little bit manic, obviously, with all of the Marco Silva stuff and with all of the game reviews and previews, so we're not going to do a separate press conference reaction, but I just want to sit and speak about something that Duncan Ferguson spoke about during the game. So he said, talking about Chelsea, he said they're a top team. That's where they are. That's where they are, and where they are, we need to compete at their level, cover every blade of grass, and fight for every ball. He also confirmed that Seamus and Delph, obviously Seamus Coleman and Fabian Delph, will miss the game. Yerry Mina will be assessed. He is a doubt, but we're still hopeful. He said the sons will be there. They're both season ticket holders. And he said we have to go into these games believing that we can get results. And he also was asked about how the players are feeling and what he's spoken to the players about, especially after the Marco Silva sacking, and how they all felt in training today. And he said, we need to move on. That's football. We're desperate for points. Let's go for it on Saturday. So obviously all very, very enthusiastic words from Duncan Ferguson. You can see he's absolutely made up to have been given the role, even as an interim Everton manager. He was asked about it permanently, and he said, listen, that's not my place to discuss, and I'm not even going to entertain that question, because our focus is on Saturday. And my biggest hope is that whoever comes in as a permanent Everton manager lets me, stay on as part of the coaching staff. So obviously very, very humble from Duncan Ferguson, and everything you want to hear, really. And like I said, I think this is coming at a good time, because we're going to be going into this game tomorrow afternoon, and although we're coming up against a team that, have been fantastic at times this season, fourth in the Premier League, won 9, drawn 2 and lost 4, we're going to be going into it with a little bit of confidence. We're going to be going into it with a little bit of a nice feeling, because we know that we're not going in to see boring football, like, players that don't necessarily want to be playing the system that they're playing in, a manager that isn't really making substitutions that make any sense. We're going to be seeing something fresh, something new, and although there is an element of frustration that, it didn't work out for Marco Silva, and now we're back at square one and we've got to start again and looking for a manager process, etc, etc. In the short term, there is, like I said, that spike of excitement going into tomorrow's game, and for me, I think Duncan Ferguson's going to do an awful lot to get the fans on side tomorrow, because he'll understand that the fans massively lost touch with the football club, especially during Marco Silva's reign, and the fact that the football club didn't handle the Marco Silva situation massively well as well, obviously leaving him there until 7 p.m. at night before they told him that he was going to get the sack, considering he'd been there since early in the morning. So like I said, I think Duncan Ferguson will be wanting to do a lot to get the fans on board, and that's why I've gone with the predicted starting 11 that I've gone with. I think he will bring players like Moise Keane in and give Moise Keane a chance. I think he will bring Bernard back in. I think he'll keep Tom Davis in there as well. He, obviously he's worked with the youth players, so I think you'll see the likes of Anthony Gordon and maybe Benny Beningame on the bench as well. But he knows this is a must-win game for Everton Football Club, and that's something that he said in his pre-game press conference, obviously coming in, and he was asked what it's like coming in to manage Everton. He said, yeah, it's brilliant and it's an honour, and what manager wouldn't want to manage Everton. But I think he was quite insistent on saying that, at the end of the day, we're in the relegation zone and we need 3 points and we need to go out there and we need to get the win tomorrow, and that's all that matters really. Not necessarily about him being the Everton manager and the story behind that, etc., which obviously is fantastic in itself, but more about the fact that we need to go out there and we need to get the 3 points. And I think that was a very, very mature answer. And listen, whenever you think about Duncan Ferguson, I know there's a lot of fans that wanted Duncan Ferguson to come in on an interim basis. I know there was a lot of fans that were a bit like, what's Duncan Ferguson done? He's been there to oversee the last 4 managers who have failed. I think the one thing we have to do tomorrow is get behind the team, get behind the manager. There's going to be a fresh, surge of confidence, a fresh surge of excitement playing. It's something new. It's a new regime. The fans will be up for it as well, of course. So I think we all just need to back the manager and back the, the team tomorrow. At the end of the day, Duncan Ferguson's been in charge for less than 24 hours, so I think it'd be massively unfair for us to start judging, whether he should have been or shouldn't have been in charge. Whatever your opinion is, it's very clear that the club haven't come to an agreement with any manager to come in on a permanent basis yet, and they didn't want to rush the decision. And I actually agree with that from the club. I agree with saying, listen, we haven't been able to make an agreement with the manager yet, so Duncan's going in charge until we can bring in the right man for the job. I'd rather that happen than them come out yesterday and say Marco Silva's been sacked and David Moyes is coming in, because basically he was the easiest option and we didn't really have to do much. It's very, very clear that, David Moyes is on the list as one of the managers to possibly replace Marco Silva, but I think it's clear that somebody within that boardroom disagrees with it, or somebody within that boardroom doesn't think it'd be a good idea. Otherwise, in my personal opinion, he'd be managing now, because I don't think it's that easy to get that deal over the line. But anyway, Big Duncan takes in charge of tomorrow's game. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comment section down below. If you're watching as well, please do hit that like button. It means a massive amount to me. Get the stream shared as well. The support over the last couple of days has been absolutely unbelievable. The stream yesterday was fantastic. Obviously, the video that I've done about Marco Silva's sacking and giving my thoughts done really, really well as well. So a big thanks to everybody for that. I've just accidentally clicked on the stream and played one of the adverts. Get the stream shared all over your socials as well if you are enjoying it. I'm going to tweet the stream out now on our Twitter so everybody knows that we are live. Let me know your thoughts on the game tomorrow. Let me know your thoughts on my predicted starting 11. We'll go through it in just a second. Do you agree with it? If so, why? Do you disagree with it? If so, why? Let me know, of course, in the comment section as per usual. So let's go through the predicted starting 11. I want to start at the goalkeeping position because that's where we usually start. And I think this is something that a lot of fans would potentially maybe have changed going into this game, and that's Jordan Pickford in goal. Now, Jordan Pickford for me had an absolute stinker on Wednesday night against Liverpool. I thought he was shocking. I really, really do. I thought he was really, really poor. However, there's a lot of people that are saying drop him. There's a lot of people that are saying bring in Jonas Lersel in. I think it'd be a different situation if Jonas Lersel had played in the Premier League for Everton and had a couple of games this season and had maybe featured and got used to the team and got used to the squad, and we as a fan base would be able to sit back and look at his performances and kind of judge him from that. But he hasn't played a competitive game for Everton Football Club all season, and I think it would be slightly harsh to take Jordan Pickford out, because yes, Jordan Pickford's made a couple of mistakes on Wednesday. And yes, he hasn't been fantastic this season. There has been games where he's made mistakes, but we haven't tested Jonas Lersel enough. We haven't put Jonas Lersel enough. We haven't given him enough opportunity for me to now throw him in such an important game, in a game that, let's be honest, we realistically must go out and must get 3 points in. And I think we can get 3 points tomorrow. Chelsea's a team that we do well at against at Goodison Park. Obviously, like I said, the whole new manager, new style, new regime, if you like, even if it is only on an interim basis, I think will only boost the players and it will only boost the fans, and I think we can get a result tomorrow, and for me that's why I'd keep it sort of solid, and I'd keep Jordan Pickford in goal. Straight back four, Luca Dean at left back, Mason Holgate and Yerry Mina at centre half, Jibril Sadiba at right back. I thought they were all poor. In fact, I thought they were all shocking against Liverpool on Wednesday, if I'm being perfectly honest with you, but I don't know. Leighton Baines is probably the only person you could put in. I don't think Luca Dean was unbelievable against Liverpool, but he has been good this season. Jibril Sadiba, obviously, will keep a position due to Seamus Coleman being out. I think Michael Keane needs to come out. He was absolutely dreadful the other night. And then obviously leaves Yerry Mina and Mason Holgate to be the centre-backs. I've gone for a midfield three of Morgan Schneiderlin, Alex Iwobi and Tom Davies. Again, a lot of people will be thinking, why have you put Morgan Schneiderlin in there? What are you putting Morgan Schneiderlin in there for? I think Gylfi Sigurdsson needs to be taken out. Gylfi Sigurdsson isn't good enough at the minute to be part of this Everton team, whether you like it or not. He's nowhere near good enough. I think Gylfi Sigurdsson needs to be taken out, and once you take Gylfi Sigurdsson out and then you start to look at our midfield options, we haven't got an awful lot. So as soon as you take Gylfi Sigurdsson out, you sort of realise that Morgan Schneiderlin has to come in. It's one for the other really, purely because of the injuries that we've got currently in the midfield. And then obviously next to Morgan Schneiderlin will be Alex Iwobi and Tom Davies. Iwobi didn't have his greatest game against Liverpool either, but he creates an awful load of space, and when he's on point, he can be an absolutely fantastic asset to this team. Similarly to Tom Davies, he was a little bit shy against Liverpool, but for the last 6 or 7 weeks he's been absolutely fantastic. And then I've gone for a really, really exciting front three of Bernard, Richarlison and Moise Kean. Now I think Richarlison will play, obviously. Why would he not play? I think Bernard will come back in. Obviously he's been training now for a couple of weeks since he's come back from that injury. Didn't feature against Norwich, obviously come on for a brief spell against Liverpool, but I think it's about time that Bernard starts a game of football now for Everton. He's back from injury. He was one of our best players before he went out injured, so why not bring him back in? And then I've gone for Moise Kean up front. Now the more I think about this, the more I'm sort of doubting myself now, not because I don't think Duncan Ferguson I'd like to put Moise Kean in, not because I don't think Duncan Ferguson wants to put Moise Kean in, but I just think that Duncan Ferguson would be more suited to a striker like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and I could just see Duncan Ferguson favouring a Dominic Calvert-Lewin because he's sort of his more type of striker. However, Moise Kean come on against Liverpool again, had a really, really good opportunity. Should have buried it, let's be honest, but that's 2 opportunities in the half an hour that he's had over the last couple of games where they've been really, really good and really, really close. Obviously one previously against Leicester as well, so Leicester, I meant Bernard didn't come in on, not Norwich. So I think if Duncan Ferguson's wanting to make an impression on the fans, if Duncan Ferguson's wanting to get the fans on side, I think he'll give Moise Kean a run out tomorrow. I think he'll say to him, listen, you're going to go out from the start, show me what you've got, impress me, let me see what we've been doing in training, and then maybe have Dominic Calvert-Lewin waiting to come on, if Moise Kean isn't quite performing in the 50th, 60th minute mark. Otherwise, he may put the both of them up front. He may say, you know what, really, really like Dom's physicality and strength and fight, and I really, really like Moise Kean's, pace and sort of mysteriousness and ability on the ball, so I'm going to put the pair here up front. But I think Duncan Ferguson more than likely go for the safe option in keeping the same formation at the minute. He might just go, fuck it, it's 4-4-2, that's how we're playing and this is the team we're playing, and I'd love to see that. But if it is a formation with one striker, then I'd massively love to see Moise Kean being that striker. And yeah, let's hope that is the case. Anyway, that's my predicted starting 11. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comment section down below. Would you change anything? If you would, let me know. If you wouldn't, why? Let's dive into the live comments. Football Fan says, hi mate, hope you're doing well. Toothy says, what's up mate? Not doing too bad myself. Alex says, yes Cam, yes Alex. Jonathan says, hello Cam, hello Jonathan. Football Fan says, hi man. Joel says, predictions Cam, I'm going to go with a 2 on Everton, to be honest. I'm quite confident. Like I said, if you'd have asked me last week, I'd have been absolutely dead in this game, and I'd have been thinking we're going to get absolutely spanked. But like I said, with the new manager coming in, and you see it in every single football club, don't you, the honeymoon phase sort of, and the fans will be up for it, the fans will be like I said, that absolutely Goodison will be absolutely rocking, the players should be up for it as well, and this is a big chance for the players. They need to step up now because they've been performing awfully under Marco Silva, and Marco Silva has left his role as manager of the club now, and he's gone, and whether the players are happy or not with that, it doesn't really matter. What they need to do now is they need to step up and they need to prove their worth at this football club, because if Duncan Ferguson comes in and these players still don't perform, and then a permanent manager comes in and the players still don't perform, then I want the players gone, because it's as much them as it is any other manager. So now this is a time for the players to step up and the players to go, actually, you know what, we're going to start showing a bit of fight here, we're going to start showing a bit of passion. And I honestly can't see Duncan Ferguson allowing any one of those Everton players tomorrow to go out and not show it 110%. He's already said in his pre-game press conference we need to be matching the level of Chelsea, which is a very, very good level. We need to be covering every blade of glass, and we need to be, you know, getting and stuck in with challenges and not being afraid. And I think that's the sort of team talk he's going to have to them players. And, you know, obviously that gives me a little bit of confidence going into the game. Football fans says, send an opposition preview now. Thank you very much. I'll get that up at some point tonight. Joel says, Carl says, hello, going into this game, actually happy for once and not depressed. Don't feel bad for Silva. It's his own ignorance that got him sacked. I don't feel bad that he's been sacked. I don't like the personal abuse that he's got. I think it's wrong, or that, you know, certain fans are giving him. But, you know, he needed to leave the football club at the end of the day, and, you know, doesn't have any reflection on the man himself, doesn't have any reflection on his personality. He just wasn't good enough for this football club and needs to leave. Football Fantasy says, thoughts on Pickford at the minute? He needs to massively improve and he needs to massively step up, or do you think he's going to be somebody that we're looking at maybe bringing somebody else in to replace in the summer, so he needs to step up? Springfield says, be interesting to see his first team selection and subs. It certainly will be. Football Fan says, hi man, speak later. He also says, Silva is a nice fella, to be honest. He is. Carl says, my starting 11 is Pickford, Holgate, Feeney, Mina, Dean, Davis, Benny, Richarlison, Iwobi, Bernard and Keane. I think you may see the likes of Benny Beningame and Anthony Gordon and maybe even Morgan Feeney within the matchday squad tomorrow. I don't think they'll start purely because, you know, Duncan Ferguson said today we're in the relegation zone, so we really, really need to start to pick up points here. We're not really in a position to throw in a load of kids and just say, you know what, go for it. Although that might work, it mightn't work. But I wouldn't be surprised if those players are in the matchday squad. Carl says he should have went after the Millwall loss last year. Fair enough. Hernandez says, hopefully Big Dunk understands that Sigurdsson is worthless and watches your team to use your starting lineup. We'll see tomorrow, won't we? If the starting lineup's this, then we'll know Big Dunk watches. Carl says, looking forward to it. The football fan chat. Springfield says, haha, he's the best. Me every time I looked at him. Everton FC, the best, says, raise your drink to Duncan, the great, spot on. Underground Hub says, good team selection. Snadland deserves a start over Sigurdsson. I wouldn't disagree, mate. Mr. W says, hello, Cam, do you think Keane will start against Chelsea? I hope so. Underground Up says, Duncan Ferguson was pretty lively at the press conference. He looked excited, and you can see how honoured he is and how proud he is to take charge of this football club and to be given the opportunity to take charge of the football club. And if you haven't watched the Toffee TV interview with Duncan Ferguson, then I massively suggest going and watching the interview, because it's absolutely fantastic. Duncan talks about how he spent 2 years at the football club, working pretty much 7 days a week, you know, on and off the field constantly without pay for a lot of it as well. And now he really, really grinded to get to the position he is now. So I think, regardless of what you think of Duncan Ferguson and regardless of how you feel about him and you know, what part he's had to play in the previous manager's reigns at the club, I think, you know, it's fair to say he probably does deserve his opportunity to at least take over on an interim basis and show what he can give the team tomorrow. Carl says, I personally believe that Mina has an injury since the Watford game in the Cup. You can tell his performances have been way off. Fair enough. Sonny says, Moyes keen to start versus Chelsea. I hope so. Lavrid says, put it this way, they don't give it 100%, they have a death wish. Spot on. Everton FC is the best, says Moise Keane's dead happy. Probably is. Cole says, have we got anyone yet? We haven't. Well, Duncan Ferguson on an interim basis. Lavrid says, is this on Sky or Amazon, or and when? We're kicking off at 12:30 tomorrow. I don't know what it's on, to be honest with you. BT, Joel says, big thanks to Joel for letting us know that one. Carl says, Moise Keane has been liking all the Silva outposts. Well, he's gone now. He's got what he deserved. I don't necessarily agree with that either, to be honest. I think that's a bit of lack of professionalism. But he's gone, so there's no real need to talk about it. Ed says, don't you understand? DCL has to start because he holds the ball up. Don't know whether that's a bit of sarcasm there from Ed. Carl says, if DM Keane the last 2 games has changed the game, DCL hasn't had the shot on target in 3 games. Cole says, I agree, Moyes to start. Where are we? Just totally lost the comments there. And Carl says, does anybody know much about that Victor Pryor guy? I know we were after him in 2013 when David Moyes first left the club. Obviously he's managing in China now. I think he's managing in Ukraine as well. I don't want him. I really, really don't want him. Joel says, Lavrid, it's on BT Sport at 12:30. Big thanks, Joel. Eric says, what is Ferguson's physiology? I can't say that word. I really can't say that word, but you can read it in the comments. I really hope he's an attacker manager. I really hope we don't pack the bus. I think he will be an attacker manager. I think it'll be more of a go out there and put a performance in for these fans, because these fans have been let down now for a number of weeks constantly. So go out there and put a good, threatening, attacking performance in for these fans, and I honestly think this team can do so. Everton FC is the best as I'm getting loads of stick on me instead of red shite. Yeah, you're always going to, mate. Lavid says, a temporary scenario is an embarrassment at this stage, but this could be an inspiration. Spot on, and we'll go through the rest of those comments in a second. So, yeah, listen, you know, Everton Football Club yesterday in this statement were very, very clear that, you know, Duncan Ferguson, you know, was coming in on an interim basis and that he would take over until a permanent manager is decided, and that process is hoping to be done and dusted fairly quickly. Duncan Ferguson was fairly convinced today that, you know, even when asked, you know, is there any chance he could take it, he said he's not thinking about that, and he just hopes that whichever manager comes in allows him to stay on the coaching staff. So I think it's very clear that Duncan himself has been told that, you know, you're going to come in on an interim basis, but, you know, unless something drastically changes and you start winning every game by 4 or 5 goals, then we are going to be looking for a permanent manager and we are going to be replacing you at some point. And I think that's completely fair enough, and I think that's the right way to go about it. But as a fan base now, especially between now and 12:30 tomorrow, I think we have to sort of nail down the talk about the potential managers, and I think we just have to back Duncan Ferguson and back this Everton team, because moreover than anything, regardless of who comes in, regardless of who is managing the game tomorrow, we need 3 points. That is the biggest thing tomorrow. We need to go out there and we need to get that win. We need to get that 3 points, and we need to put a performance in for us. And that's all that matters at the end of the day. And whether that ends up being Duncan Ferguson masterclass or whether it ends up coming off somebody's arse in the last second of the game, we need those 3 points against a very, very good side. Like I said, the side that are currently sitting in 4th, obviously bought nobody in the transfer window at the transfer ban. Frank Lampard coming in, managing the club, some really, really good young players in there as well, the likes of Mason Mount, Tammy Abraham, who have been performing fantastically. So it's not going to be easy, and it's not the easiest first game for Duncan Ferguson to take over. However, it's a game that I think he can grit his teeth into. I think he can motivate the lads, and I think he can inform the team that we need to go out there and we need to get the 3 points and we need to put in a performance, and that's the bare minimum that you're going to do. The bare minimum you're going to do is show fight, show passion, show urgency, and show a want to win, and I hope that's the team talk that Duncan Ferguson has with the boys tomorrow. Listen, obviously we know that Everton are on the hunt for a permanent manager. We know that this process is going to be undergoing until a decision is made. Been loads of rumours over the last 24 hours. Ancelotti is a rumour that has been thrown about. Apparently, he's keen to return to England. Didn't say it'd be with Everton or not, but he's keen to return to England. It's a difficult one with Carlo Ancelotti because he is a proven winner, and he's a manager that I would absolutely love at Everton Football Club. He's a manager that's obviously, he's won European trophies, he's won leagues. He's not really got much experience in the situation that we're currently in and digging teams out of the relegation zone and trying to build us up again. However, I think, you'd be a little bit silly to not want Carlo Ancelotti at your club, considering the stature that he has. Pochettino as well. We all knew the inevitable was going to happen. Everton made an official or an initial approach for Mauricio Pochettino. Apparently it was rejected by him pretty much 15 minutes after we made it. Again, that was reported by The Athletic, which is a pretty decent source as well. And obviously Pereira, who somebody mentioned there, currently managing in the Chinese League. If we're going to go after a manager in the Chinese League, then it needs to be Rafa Benitez and not a manager that we looked at 2013 and turned down because we deemed not good enough. If he wasn't good enough then he's certainly not good enough now. But like I said, I don't really want to sit here and talk about the managerial situation, and I don't want to talk about potential managers because we've got loads of time to do that. I assume Everton won't have appointed the permanent manager by this time next week. And like I said, we're going to go into the game tomorrow with Duncan Ferguson in charge. We're going to go out there, we're going to hopefully go and get the 3 points, and then we'll have loads of time to talk about potential managers over the next couple of weeks or so. The whole, Wednesday's live team will be talking about the managerial situation, but let's go into tomorrow's game and let's just go into it and take it as it is. Duncan Ferguson taking charge of Everton Football Club for the first time, and hopefully us going out there and putting in a really good performance and getting the 3 points, because that's what we desperately need, isn't it? Let's be perfectly honest. If you're watching live, please do hit that like button. It means a massive amount to me. Subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. Why not? It only takes a second. Let's get back into the live comments now. Eric says Moise Keane is so happy Silva's gone. Is he? Maybe he is. Probably is, yeah. Everton FC is the best. Says, love your channel, mate, as usual. Great stuff. Thank you very much, mate. Really do appreciate that. Vid says the new boss is obviously currently employed, maybe, potentially, and that's why it's not been done yet, which means it's good news because it means it's not David Moyes. However, he is on the list, we believe. Vid says, Ed Carew says DCL can hold the ball up there before he has to start. We look so much better with DCL. Fair point. Eric said, I agree 100% with the starting lineup. Thank you very much, Eric. Carl says, want Virginia to be called back from loan. He's not getting any game time, is he, at Reading? So potentially probably should be called back from loan. Max said, do you think he will change formation, and if so, what formation do you think he will pick? I've got a feeling he'll keep the same formation tomorrow, just to, again, to not really confuse the players and to not change an awful lot in 24 hours. I think he'll probably change the personnel, but I would assume he would keep the same formation. But you never know, he might go with a 4-4-2 and just put Keane and Dominic Calvert-Lewin up front and just go, fuck it, we're going for the win. Eric says, some talk about DCL. We look off with DCL as a championship player, the best. Moise Keane's just a talented player. I like DCL, but I like Moise Keane as well. Carl says Keane and Mina are poor duo too slow. Yeah, Michael Keane needs taken out. He was absolutely shocking against Liverpool, and again, still don't think he's good enough to be an Everton centre half. Sonny says Pickford feels the pressure of the derby at Anfield. Michael Keane is hopeless. Gylfi doesn't deserve to be captain. Front three, I agree with. I agree that we should play that team against Chelsea. Thank you very much, Sonny. Eric says, before I'd lost it, do you remember the midfield we played against West Ham? An energetic midfield, that exactly what we need. Sigurdsson slows the team down. Yeah, but obviously, we've lost Andre Gomez since then, of course, so we can't play the exact same midfield. But I agree, I think Gylfi Sigurdsson needs to be taken out. Lavid says, I can just see the big man snarling in the dressing room. My biggest fear that there might be brown patches on the pitch. Jack Williams says, hi mate, hope you well. I'm not too bad, Jack, I'll be doing well. Lavid says, I can see Cenk benefiting from Dunk with Moise Keane up front. Maybe Cenk Tosun will be in with the chance tomorrow. Let me know your thoughts on that one. Carl says Tosun's a championship player. There's that one over with then. Underground says, most likely going to see under-20 Everton, under-23s on the bench. It wouldn't surprise me. Kevin says, we will have more chance with Big Duncan up top. Silva might be gone, but let's not talk. Things will change. He is just a small part of the problem. He is. I agree. There's a lot more problems at Everton Football Club. Colin says, is it on Sky? I think it's on BT, mate. Underground says, so much Keane smiling in the Tainer video. They all seemed quite happy, didn't they? And fair enough to them. Why would would you not be happy? It's a fresh start. It's a new regime, and it's something to look forward to, isn't it? Mark Jones says Big Dunk should start himself. Probably be a little bit more of a threat for us. Underground says every blade of grass. Yeah, blade of glass. See, I can't say that. Every blade of grass. There you go. It's a bit of a tongue twister, that, isn't it? Evan FC is the best. Says, I want to hear he's one of our own chant. You'll probably hear that at Goodison. Toothy says, Cam, which positions on the pitch makes the best future managers? Oh, it's a tough question. That is a tough question. I'd probably say centre half, to be honest. I think it's one of the most demanding positions, and I think it's the position that demands you to be a leader and you to step up and really take control of the game. Cold says centre back. I agree. Sonny says, which manager do you want? Realistically, Rafa Benitez. Blue Goon says, who's this Pereira fella? Sounds like a gamble to me. I want Benitez. Yeah, I wouldn't go after Pereira personally. Lewis says, don't know why we'd take a Chinese league manager. I wouldn't unless it's Rafa Benitez, who's obviously won Champions Leagues and various other trophies in Europe. Lewis said, oh no, I've just read that one, sorry. Andy said, do you watch Network, Michael D? I do. I'd like to say I'm good friends with Michael. We talk often, so yeah, I do watch him. Underground says, David Moyes can't play in the current league. We would be relegated. I don't want David Moyes either. FNFC is the best. Says, hey Cam, can you be manager? If they come in for me and they give me a nice pocket, then no, I'm only messing. They'll never come in for me, obviously. Steve says, Cenk should start in tomorrow's game, I think, fair enough. And Craig 90 says, I told Dunk what I used to twat you. I didn't know what he said because I put the phone down on him, just joking. Of course. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's live stream. If you have enjoyed, please do hit that like button. It means a massive amount to me. Listen, regardless of how you feel on Duncan Ferguson, regardless of how you feel about Everton at the minute, I totally agree with some of the comments there. This isn't, Marco Silva leaving the club isn't going to solve every one of our issues. We've still got massive issues that run through the football club that need to be addressed. But what it will do is will provide a fresh start for the players. We'll provide a confidence boost for the players, and we'll provide a little bit more excitement going into the game for the fans and for the players, and hopefully we can go out there and we can get the 3 points. Let's see what big Duncan Ferguson can do. It's definitely going to be intriguing. It's definitely going to be exciting. I'll be at Goodison Park tomorrow, of course. Don't forget to join me straight after the game for the instant match reaction. Hopefully it's a positive one, and hopefully we're saying Duncan Ferguson after we've beaten Chelsea 5-0 at Goodison, and Moise Keane scored an hat-trick. But yeah, big thanks to everyone for watching. Please do hit that like button if you have enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. It only takes a second. Don't forget to join me for the instant match reaction tomorrow, and then of course we'll have all the post-game stuff through the week, and we'll be talking a little bit more about the managerial situation then as well. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and please do go and follow us over on our Twitter at MightyBluesYT as well. Eric says, if Dunk performs well and we start winning games, do you think the board will take a lot of time finding the permanent manager and not rush? I think it'll be considered, but I still think they're going to spend an awful lot of time looking for a permanent manager, because they'll be looking at the likes of Manchester United and thinking we don't kind of want to make that same mistake. Eric says, who do you see? What do you see in David Moyes? He's a Finnish manager. No one has appointed him since 2018. I don't want David Moyes. I agree. Blue Green says, come on you Blues. Yeah, come on you Blues. Big game tomorrow. Big chance for us to get 3 points against a real tough side. But let's be honest, we need it. We need it, so we're going to have to go out there and we're going to have to show heart, we're going to have to show fight, we're going to have to show passion. And if there's one thing that a Duncan Ferguson Everton side will do, that's show all three of those. Whether they've got the quality, whether they've got the ability to beat Chelsea tomorrow, I think that's, that's to be seen. But one thing we can pretty much guarantee is that the players will go out there and they'll show every single bit of passion that they can, and try and impress the manager in Duncan Ferguson. Big thanks for watching. Sonny says, you go in the game. I am. Thank you very much. He says, I so enjoy up the fucking Sovies. Thank you very much. I am, and I'll obviously be doing the instant match reaction states after. Big thanks for watching. Please do hit that like button if you have enjoyed the stream. Subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. It only takes a second. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at MightyBluesYT. Once again, a big thanks to everybody in the live comments for getting involved. If you're watching as a YouTube video, drop your comments in the comment section down below and I'll try and get involved with as many of them as possible. Big thanks for watching. Please leave a like if you have enjoyed, and I'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.